You know those people who, whether it's someone you've just met for the first time, or someone that you've chatted with a few times, or someone you've known forever, that every time you come away from being around them, or even if it's the first time you've ever talked to them, you just feel like, I like that person. There is just something about them. I really enjoy chatting with them or being around them. Well, what is it about them? What are they doing? Or more importantly, what are they not doing that makes them more likable and magnetic? Because some of these things they are intentionally not doing. Some of them, are just maybe come to them more naturally, but some of them they actually are making a point of not doing. That makes them those magnetic, likable people that we all like to be around, and that I think most of us would love to learn how to be a little bit more, because who doesn't like to be liked? So stay tuned. We're going to talk about 5 things that the most likable and magnetic people do not do. If you're new to me, and this is the first time we're connecting, my name is Kristina, and I'm a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and an online course creator. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, and I work to help heart-centered go-getter men and women break through fear and self-doubt so that they can connect with who they are and step into their power. So let's talk about these things. Let's get right into it so that we can learn, all of us can learn how to be authentic and genuine and ourselves. Obviously, it's not about changing who we are. It's not about becoming someone else, but it's about bringing out these parts of ourselves that make us feel more connected to other people and make it easier for other people to feel more connected to us. So the first thing that magnetic and likable people do not do is they don't play it cool. How often have you been around someone who they just seem kind of aloof or full of themselves, and they're just sort of like, pretending that they're a lot cooler than they are, and they're pretending that they are just like better than us, and we're like, oh, that feels kind of icky. That feels kind of weird. Like, I don't really know what to think right now. I don't really know what's going on right now. So likable people, they don't play it cool. They are themselves. They are comfortable with who they are. And the secret is that the more comfortable someone is with themselves, the more comfortable we are with them. It just feels good to be around people who feel good about who they are, not about making themselves better than other people, not about being egotistical, about like bragging about themselves, but people who are just like, I'm good. I've got nothing to prove. I've got no one to impress. I'm just myself. And we like being around people like that. That is magnetic. That draws us to people because it also gives us permission to be ourselves as well. The next thing that the most likable and magnetic people don't do is they don't avoid eye contact or frown all the time. They actually make an effort to smile. And this might sound really cheesy and really like lame to be like, I have to smile more. And the answer is yes. Because think about it, you're not usually drawn to someone who's like standing there kind of like, and grumpy and has that like resting B word face or that resting A word face who's like, or when you're talking to someone and they're just kind of staring at you and like, We like people who reflect to us that they like us. And so what's the easiest way to show someone that you actually like them is to smile at them, to make eye contact, to look not in like a creepy weird way, but like not holding eye contact the whole time, but like making eye contact with someone. Let them know that you are listening to them, that you are paying attention to them. In this day and age, it is so easy to make someone feel like you're paying attention to them. All you have to do is just not check your phone every 30 seconds when they're talking to you. It is so much easier. All you have to do is not pick up your phone, because it is so hard to like and feel good about having a conversation with someone when they're checking their phone, when they're looking away, when they're looking annoyed, when they're looking, even if they're not intending to do it, even if they're just sort of being clueless about the whole thing. It doesn't feel good. So Likeable people, they make eye contact, they look interested, they pay attention, they don't let themselves be distracted and looking around at everything else. They might even, if it's appropriate, like touch you on the shoulder, give you sort of warm gestures, use those physical cues and physical signals to let you know that they like you. Because the truth is, the people we like most are the people who we feel like us. So showing someone that by paying attention. The next one, and this is a big one that I had to learn the hard way. Likeable magnetic people don't look for differences, especially when you're just getting to know them, especially on the first meeting. As brilliant and as insightful as you think you might be by contradicting everything that they're saying or finding the flaws in their logic or pointing out why they're wrong, as brilliant and as amazing as you think you might be and being like, see, good thing I told you how wrong you are. Yeah, people don't like that. It's annoying. I'm not saying that you can never have a different opinion. Obviously, yes, you can have a different opinion than someone and you can share that in a respectful, responsible way, but be like, oh, I totally get that, but I kind of see it like this, or I'm not sure I totally agree with that, or I have a different perspective. But usually, especially on the first meeting with someone, to not be challenging everything they're saying, to not be looking for differences. I know it sounds kind of obvious, but it's amazing how many of us kind of miss this one. And even if you're not going to be, focusing on intentionally not finding differences, what you can do is intentionally find things in common with what they're saying and what they're talking about, but not being fake about it, not being like, oh my gosh, you love horses, I love horses, where, you've actually had a fear of horses since you were 5 years old and got bucked off. Not speaking from experience at all. But find things in common, like, oh, you have kids, I have kids too, and like, how are you finding parenting, and what have been some of the ups and downs? Look for things in common. Look for things that you both can share. And I have a video on this about what to talk about in social situations, especially at like social gatherings or networking events or business things or just like friend things where you don't really know people super well. I have a video on that with a formula you can use. I'm going to put a link to that. But find things in common and share commonality. We like people who not only like us, but also who are like us in some ways. So find things in common. Point them out, bring them up, talk about them. The next one is confident, likable people are not phony or put on. They're not fake. They're not like pretending to be someone that they're not. They're real, they're genuine. They don't only talk about how great they are and all the things that they've done and how wonderful their life is. They also talk about some of the things that are not so perfect. We don't connect to perfect. As much as we think we need to be perfect in order for people to like us, the truth is we don't connect to perfect. We connect to real. We connect to people who we have things in common with, and we don't have things in common with people who are perfect because we are not perfect, and none of us are. And the people who are coming across as perfect are not perfect either. They are just putting that on and pretending to be that way, which is why we can't connect with them, because it's not real. Being real. Being authentic doesn't mean airing all our dirty laundry to someone when we've met them for the first time. It doesn't mean talking about like our deepest, darkest secrets in the first conversation. It means being authentic, but to the level of so we share the depths of who we are and what we're dealing with and what's going on in our lives that is parallel and congruent to the depth of the relationship. So if it's someone you're just meeting for the first time, you don't know super well, you don't share all the intimate details of your life because you don't have an intimate relationship with that person. But you can share things like, saying something about like, oh man, seriously, like parenting is hard sometimes. Or, like some days, I tell you, life feels tough. Thank goodness for whatever it is. Thank goodness for exercise or for friends that we can vent to or being able to get out of the house and come to events and having nice conversations with new people or whatever it is. But being authentic, not being fake or phony or put on or pretending to be someone that we're not. We don't like people like that. So don't do it. The next one is that confident, magnetic people do not talk about themselves the whole time. And I know sometimes when we're nervous or we're uncomfortable, we just talk and talk and talk, and that's kind of a nervous tick for a lot of people. But being mindful of not talking about ourselves the whole time, about asking questions, being genuinely interested in other people. Like I said, the people we find most interesting are often the people who are most interested in us. And so asking questions, getting to know them, showing that you are interested in them. It's also too, in those situations, like letting yourself talk about yourself too, because I've been in situations where I've been with someone who like never talks about themselves and they always turn the conversation back on me, and maybe they're trying to be like a good like social person or whatever, but I'm like, no, I actually want to know some things about you. I actually want to hear about you. I don't want it to be all about me. I want to connect with you about who you are and what you have going on. So it's a give and take, but being intentional about asking questions and showing interest in other people. And then this is a bonus one, and this is a huge one that can automatically make someone like you or make someone likable, is if you are thinking something positive about that person. This is like Captain Obvious, but it's amazing how few of us actually do it. Say it. Tell the person, if you're like, oh, I really like that person's shirt or their dress, be like, hey, like, I really like your dress. Like, you look great. Or I really like your hair. Or, you know, like, you're really interesting. Like, when I really like talking to you, and your knowledge of the intricacies of the mating calls of Australian humpback whales is uncanny. I don't even know if there's such thing as Australian humpback whales, but you know. Pointing out something that you genuinely appreciate about them and telling them, letting them know. It's amazing how quickly someone will become endeared to you, or how quickly you become endeared to someone when they are saying specific things that they notice and appreciate about you. And even those things that we think that other people don't notice, or even those things that you think that other person might not think that other people notice about them, look for those things. Point them out, let them know that you see it, that you notice it, that you appreciate it, that you like it. It's like right there. There it is. There are things that likable and magnetic people do not do, and there's things that they do. Which one of these are you going to commit to starting to do today? Which one of them feels like the most doable, the one that you're like, crap, I've totally been doing this, and I'm going to start turning this one around. I'm going to start doing this one different. Which one of these are you going to be intentional about working on? I also have a free download for you. It's called my 5 favorite healthy reminders. And these are things that whenever I'm going into a new social situation, or whenever I'm feeling kind of down, or whenever I'm feeling disconnected from myself, these are the things that I remind myself of. These are the things that I use to help me feel grounded and connected to myself, and actually help me even build and continue building that relationship with myself, so that I can like myself more, so that I can show up more genuinely and authentically as myself. Get that download, 5 healthy reminders. Like the video, share it out, leave your comment, let me know your thoughts. How did this resonate with you? Join my Facebook group, GoodForMeGroup.com, full of the most kind, supportive, authentic, genuine, heart-centered go-getter men and women. GoodForMeGroup.com. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe. Did I say that? Make sure you subscribe. We need to stay connected. Take good care.